Estimados alumnos, buenas noches. Gracias por acompañarme una vez más. Parece que tenemos audio normal. Hola Edith, buenas noches. Gracias por acompañarme. ¿Me puedes confirmar si me escuchas, por favor? Perfecto. Ok, como ya saben, esta sesión será en inglés, pero podemos ir trabajando cualquier duda o inquietud que tengan a través del chat en YouTube, en idioma español, si así lo prefieren, y entonces yo responderé también en idioma español para poder, gracias Edith, para poder aclarar cualquier duda, cualquier aspecto que no vaya quedando claro de la gramática o de la forma de desarrollar los indicadores de desempeño de esta semana 3, ¿ok? So, let's start. So we are already very quick in our week 3 of our Model 6, My World in Another Language, our group. You already know our group. And remembering the ordinary period from August 3 to August 30. And we're going to check this week 3, unit 3, that is titled Hobbies and Abilities. In this week, we're going to learn how to provide information in English about ours and other people's hobbies and abilities in daily routine, both orally and writing. So we will develop the necessary vocabulary to express daily routines, abilities, likes or dislikes of us and other people. So this unit 3, in my particular view of this Model 6, is my favorite one because we're going to express hobbies and abilities. So we're going to pretend that we are in a job interview or we're applying for a job. So we have to express what can do or what cannot do, maybe what we like or love to do and what hate to do. So this first integrative activity about hobbies and abilities is very important to really learn how to be in a job interview, or maybe just in a social meeting, or maybe just to know someone else, really expressing hobbies and abilities, okay? And also in the second integrative activity of this unit 3, of this week 3, we're going to pretend that we're looking for a roommate, for someone to live with us, okay, in the same room, in the same house. So in order to know this person, he or she, better, we have to ask some questions about hobbies and abilities, yes, routines. So it's very important, very interesting, this unit 3 of our Model 6. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do, okay? So the order of our session tonight, we're going to check out the object of this session, the performance indicators of week 3. We're going to review the activity formats. We're going to talk about areas of success detected in week 2, areas of opportunity to apply in week 3, time extensions for activities, additional resources, and then space for doubts. So the object of this session tonight, we're going to review the performance indicators of week 3 for the correct development of the assigned activities with the support of examples and tutorials, as well as areas of success and opportunity to apply in this third week. So the performance indicators of this week 3, we have 2 integrative activities, applying for a job and finding a roommate, form activities or daily routine and job abilities, or learning forum of this week 3, that we're going to express things and activities that we like or dislikes, the activities that we do daily, and what we are capable of doing. So this learning forum I consider very special because we also have the opportunity to know more about us, okay, as members of Prepa Online SEP. So it's very interesting, this space. Let's try to enrich the learning forum. We have the social emotional activity 12 with our tutor, and we have also 4 form exercises that we have to do in order to complete the 5% of a total of the model, okay? Remember that. So what about the review of the activity formats? We're going to check it out in a minute, and we'll also have a little tutorial, a very quick tutorial, on how to check the spelling in Word, and we're going to check a grammarly review of do and does, okay? Also in the integrative activity. But first, let's go to our infographic that is located in the news forum. You already know that I share this infographic in the news forum in English and in Spanish in order to give you an option to read in a very quick way my suggestions of each week, of every unit. So here I explain to you that the purpose of the activities of this third week is for us to be able to provide information in English about skills and hobbies, both for ourselves and others, okay, in oral and written form. So the integrative activity 5, applying for a job, the object of this activity is to apply grammatical notions and vocabulary from Unit 3 to express information about our abilities, what we like and what we dislike in the context of a job interview. Okay, so that's what I explained at the beginning of our session. We also remain with the recordings, yes, so please remember using our applications that we already saw in the first session of our model, Vocaroo. You can choose voice capture in your cell phone, the voice recorder, sound recorder of Windows, or any recorder you want, okay? We're going to also have interactive activity 6, finding a roommate, that the object of this activity is to apply grammatical notions and the vocabulary of this Unit 3 to obtain information about the usual activities of other people as a useful element in choosing a roommate. Okay, so we're going to have a review of the format in a minute. We also have the social emotional activity, questionnaire 12, and our learning forum. Yes, like in this example, we're going to share what we love to do. For example, I love swimming. In fact, I was a high performance athlete and competed internationally. On the contrary, I do not like ball sports such as football and basketball. Okay, so this is an example. I'm going to give you every day some examples about how to participate and enrich this learning forum. Okay, so let's go to our first integrative activity, that it will be integrative activity number 5, applying for a job. As you know, you have to download this file that is in the instructions of the activity, and I suggest you check first the resource in week 3, vocabulary S3, can, can't, like, dislikes, hate, and expressing hobbies and abilities, because these resources will be helpful for you to understand the grammatical ways that we're going to try in this activity, and also will help you to understand more vocabulary to really write down or answer this part of the activity. Okay, so we have to read the question and answer this question. We have to write down 2 answers per each question. Okay, like this in the example. Question 1, what can you do? So I have to write down 2 abilities using can. Okay, so I can cook, I can swim, I can ride a bicycle, I can sing, I can dance. Okay, so my verb is in infinitive, and also I have to place down 1 picture per question or per answer. Okay, so I have to place down here 2 pictures. So I have to write down 2 answers and 2 pictures. Okay, I can use Pinterest for images that are free from Outer, and it's very simple to subscribe in this application. It's free, and you can download these images for really free. Okay, so don't worry about copy and paste any images with outer reserves. Okay, so the next question says, what can you do? It means what abilities that I really cannot do. Okay, so for example, I can't dance ballet. I'm using a picture to describe that I can't dance ballet. I can use the contraction like in the question, can't, or I can use it in a very extended way, like I cannot fly, for example, or I cannot swim, or I can't sing, for example. Okay, so the verb is without s, and we don't use to okay? Because this is a very common area of opportunity in these grammatical forms that I maybe write down I can not to dance, for example, okay? Or I cannot to fly, or I cannot to cook. So we don't use s at the end of the verb, and we don't use to, okay? In the case of using can't. The next question says, what do you like to do? I'm using do. So, and I'm using like. So the grammatical form for answer in the like, I'm using the verb next to another verb, because like is like a verb too. So we don't have to use, we use the ing ending for the next verb next to like, and we avoid using to, okay? I can use like this, I like swimming, or I can use my verb, yes, in infinitive form, okay? So don't use, avoid using to, infinitive form, and we don't use to. Like for example, it's very common to say I like to dance, for example. So this will be incorrect, okay, because we don't use to. And I can't also use this, I like dance, because I'm using two verbs in one sentence. So I have to place down ing to the next verb, okay? I like dancing, I like running, I like cooking, etc. Okay? Or I like soccer. So in definitive form, the verb. Okay? What about dislike? With dislike, we use the auxiliary don't. Okay? So what do you dislike to do? I don't like washing the dishes. I do not like, in the extended form, I do not like maybe doing homework, for example, okay? So I use don't to help writing down with like, okay? In the negative with the auxiliary like. What do you hate to do? I hate do the laundry. I hate washing the dishes, for example. Washing the dishes, okay? What do you love to do? With love is the same grammatical rule as we said in like. We use the next verb with ing. I love watching movies. So it will be incorrect if I write down I love to watch movies. For example, this will be incorrect, okay? Because I don't use to next to love, and I have to write down the ing ending for the next verb. So I can set in infinitive form, I love ice cream, for example. This will be correct. I love ice cream. Or I love go shopping, for example. Okay, so this will be correct. It's the same grammatical rule as we said in like. Okay, and the last part of our integrative activity, we have to make a recording, and I can read the questions and the answers, both of them, okay? So my recording will be like this. What can you do? I can cook. I can swim. What can you do? I can dance ballet. I cannot fly. What do you like to do? I like swimming. I like soccer. What do you dislike to do? I don't like washing the dishes. I do not like doing homework. What do you hate to do? I hate do the laundry. I hate washing the dishes. What do you love to do? I love watching movies, and I love eating ice cream, or I love ice cream, for example. Okay? So this will be our recording. Please don't worry about the time extension for the recording, because there is no penalize according to the rubric if you exceed the time of the recordings. Okay? So make sure you read clear and loud all the questions and the sentences of this integrative activity 5, applying for a job. Okay? So, until here, any question? Edith, ¿alguna pregunta hasta acá? Okay, so let's go to the next integrative activity, number 6. Ok, me dice Edith, ¿podemos poner lo que en verdad nos gusta o conveniencia de las oportunidades de trabajo? Sí, podemos poner lo que realmente nos gusta o, exactamente como dice Edith, hacerlo realmente en un contexto de trabajo, ¿no? Pero aquí estamos como tratando de darnos a conocer en una forma muy real, muy abierta, que es lo que realmente nos gusta y no nos gusta hacer, ¿no? Pero a lo mejor podría poner yo, como dice Edith, cuestiones a lo mejor un poco más formales, ¿no? Como me gusta trabajar en equipo, ¿no? I love working in group, or I love to work under pressure, for example, ¿no? Me gusta trabajar bajo presión. O sea, podríamos poner muy apegado a un contexto laboral, sí, pero también podríamos poner cosas más relajadas, como me gusta bailar, me gusta nadar, soy bueno en deportes, ¿no? Cosas así. Ok, me dice Abril, que ya tiene una pregunta. Edith, ¿son 2 imágenes? Sí. Es una imagen por respuesta, entonces son 2 imágenes en cada cuadrito, ¿ok? Podemos colocar la hoja también en modo horizontal, de manera que tengamos más espacio en nuestra tabla y no se nos mueva mucho la hoja. Es un tip adicional, ¿ok? Me dice Abril, ¿las imágenes son por respuesta? Es decir, ¿tenemos que poner 2 imágenes? Sí. Lo que me dice Edith, ¿no? Entonces son 2 imágenes, o sea, una por respuesta, 2 por cada, serían 2 imágenes por cada cuadrito, ¿ok? Y ojo, porque este sí es una área muy recurrente de oportunidad, que se nos olvida ilustrar las 2 respuestas, y esto sí es altamente evaluable conforme a la rúbrica, ¿ok? Muy bien. Perfecto. So, let's go to the integrative activity number 6, finding a roommate. So, this is another daily situation about how to find someone to live with us. So in order to choose to really know someone else, to choose him or she, him or her, for living with us in our same room, in our same house, we have to ask some questions about what are her likes, dislikes, and obviously the routines. Okay, so previously I recommend, or I suggest, you check the resource in week 3, adverbs of frequency, my schedule, and the video daily routine. This resource in week 3 in our platform will be helpful for the understanding of the grammatical rules and the vocabulary for answer this integrative activity number 6. So we have to write down 10 questions and 10 answers to know more about our possibly new roommate. So the first question in this integrative activity will be how to construct questions in English. So in English we use... Ok, antes me dice Edith otra pregunta. Las 2 respuestas se formulan de distinta forma. Utilizamos el mismo auxiliar que estamos en esa pregunta, pero sí, por ejemplo, I can run or I can swim, for example. Okay? Entonces serían el mismo auxiliar porque estamos utilizando can para expresar una habilidad, o estamos utilizando like, o estamos utilizando love. Y esa es una muy buena pregunta que me hace Edith, porque luego, sí es cierto, como que utilizamos otros auxiliares en una misma respuesta, ¿no? O sea, de repente nos estamos preguntando con what can you do, y yo contesto con like, I like swimming, ¿no? Entonces tenemos que responder con el mismo auxiliar que está en la pregunta, ¿ok? Entonces sí, Edith, esa es una muy buena pregunta, tengo que responder con el mismo auxiliar, ¿ok? I can run, I can dance, I love swimming, I love running, I love go shopping, I love working with other people, I love working under pressure, etc. ¿Ok? Muy bien. So like I said, the first thing to know here is how to construct, how to form the questions in English. So in English we use the auxiliary do and does in order to write down our questions. So the example in the activity says, what time does he or she have lunch? So obviously we have to ask questions to know hobbies and abilities, but I also recommend you that ask questions about routines. Maybe at what time, like the example, at what time does he or she have lunch? Does he or she exercise regularly? No? Or when does she or he exercise regularly? We can use the WH questions like what, when, where, and we can also use do and does. We also are going to use only does because we use does, the auxiliary does, to the subjects he, she, and it. And obviously we're talking about a girl or a boy. Okay, so the auxiliary that we're going to use right now is does. Okay, so we use first the auxiliary does plus the subject, yes, does she, and the verb in infinitive. Does she like sushi? Does she likes to go out on Saturday nights, for example? So we have to construct our questions with these auxiliaries. Okay, using this chart I'm giving you right now. This is the steps like for construct our sentences or questions. Okay, using the auxiliary does, next the subject, and next the verb in infinitive form. Okay, so for example here, I study every day. How can I do the question for this answer? Do you study every day? Yes, I study every day. He studies every day? Yeah. Does he study every day? Yes, he studies every day. So here I'm using also adverbs of frequency. As you know, we already use adverbs of time, and we also review a little about other adverbs of time. So we use the adverbs of time to express how often we do an action. Like for example, every day, it means always. Okay, always, it will be also another adverb of frequency. Okay, I can also say never, or maybe I can say sometimes. Okay, regularly. It's an expression that indicates in English how often I do an activity. Okay, when someone does an activity. And I can also use some possessive adjectives, and I have to be very careful with these ones because I can use a possession of the objects. For example, she likes washing her clothes at 7 o'clock in the morning. He likes washing his clothes on Sundays. Okay, so I'm expressing a routine, and I'm also expressing a possessive adjective to indicate that something belongs to someone. Okay, so here are more possessive adjectives. Obviously, we're only going to use her for she and his for he, but these are the other possessive adjectives according to the personal pronouns. For example, I, it will be my. For example, my book. You, it will be your. For example, your cousin. He, it will be his. Like for example, his clothes. She, for her clothes. It will be its park. We, it will be our. This is our classroom, for example. You, it will be your, and they, it will be their. Okay, this is their class, for example. So here I have more examples, or more how the form of the construction of the questions. Yes, with what, where, why, and when, like in the first example here. Yes, what time does he, she have lunch? And here I have some examples. We use what, where. For example, where does he plays football? Yes, we also use plays for he and she. Okay, the verb. Or it could be, where do you work at weekends, for example? Or where do you take the bus? Why or when does she plays football? Okay, so in order to show you how to form the questions with the auxiliary do, does, and what, where, why, when, the WH. Okay, and also another area of opportunity very recurrent here, that you have to notice that in English we only use one question mark. This is a question mark. One question mark in the questions at the end of the question. Only one, okay? Because in Spanish we use both of the question marks. But in English we only use one question mark at the end of the question, okay? So please note this grammatical rule, because it's according to the rubric that I have to check the grammatical forms and everything correct in these aspects, okay? Okay, so until here, do you have a question on how to form the sentences in English in the question sentences? How to make sure to construct the questions and the answers. We're going to use does, the auxiliary does, plus the subject plus the verb in infinitive. I can also use adverbs of frequency to ask or to answer how often I do an activity, or how often she or he does an activity. And also I have to use, or maybe I can use, some possessive adjectives to answer my questions, okay? Very good. So the second part of our integrative activity asks me that I have to write down 5 sentences on how to explain the routine of our possibly roommate. Remember that you will use the structure of the third person, okay? So the third person, it means that I have to use he or she, yes? And I can also use, I have to use the adverbs of time. You remember that in week 2, the past week, we use the adverbs of time to indicate what happened first, or what happened at the beginning and what happened at the end. Yes, we use an order that indicates what action takes place first and what at the end. Okay, so we use first, after, then, and finally. So I have to write down 5 sentences. As I only have first, after, then, I have to use another adverb of time, maybe after or maybe then, to complete my 5 sentences. Okay, so the example would be like this. This is my possibly new roommate Samantha, and this is her routine. Her, remember? Her, possessive adjectives. First, she gets up at 6 in the morning. Okay, after, she eats breakfast and takes a shower. Remember that we use s at the end of the verb because we use it with she and he. Okay, then she goes to work. After, she returns from work at 7 o'clock. Finally, she goes to bed at 10 o'clock. Okay, so it's very simple. We have to write down in very simple sentences, not long enough. Just like these sentences, it will be enough according to the rubric. But according to the rubric, I have to place down 5 sentences. Okay, so make sure you write down in this space 5 sentences using my adverbs of time. Okay, very good. And at the end of my integrative activity, I have to make a recording reading the questions and the answers and the routine. Okay, so I read the question, I read the answer, and I read the 5 sentences. Okay, don't worry about the time if you exceed it, that is on the instructions of the activity, because according to the rubric, there is no penalize if you exceed the time of the recordings. Okay, until here, do you have a question of this integrative activity 6? Edith y Abril, ¿tienen alguna pregunta hasta acá de la actividad 6? Por favor, no se preocupen en cuestión del audio. Ya sé que a lo mejor esta actividad resulta un poco más laboriosa en grabar porque son 10 preguntas, 10 respuestas. Hay que leer todas las preguntas, todas las respuestas y además las 5 oraciones. Entonces, no se preocupen si nos excedemos del tiempo del audio porque de acuerdo a la rúbrica, pese a que las instrucciones de la actividad lo mencionan, la rúbrica no penaliza por excederse del tiempo. Entonces, por favor, mejor asegúrense de que estemos grabando la totalidad de nuestra actividad, ¿ok? Leyendo las 10 preguntas, 10 respuestas y las 5 oraciones. Ok, Edith, perfecto. Muchas gracias. Ya decía que una de las áreas más recurrentes también es hacer las 5 oraciones completas y por favor noten que en inglés debemos de utilizar solamente un signo de interrogación al final de cada pregunta, ¿ok? Muy bien, Abril, muchas gracias. So let's continue with the slides of our session. Sorry. We're going to check here the grammatical way in Word, how to check it. You have to know that on the top of our file in the Word, we have revisar, okay, and we can choose the language here in idioma. We can make a click and we can choose the language that we are writing down. So I have to choose Inglés Estados Unidos and automatically our integrative activity correct here in Word the sentences, okay, like for example here it says possessive, okay, so I missed an S. Very good. It's a very easy way to detect the grammatical correct ways here write down in Word, okay, so make sure you can use it. Maybe here every day since it has an ending, okay, every day, okay, it was wrong, very good, every day, okay, so it's very easy to check out with this grammatical way in Word, okay, very good. Okay, so let's go through the slides. So what about the areas of success detected in week 2? I noticed that you keep in touch with me through the platform messenger and my personal email. You will be in touch with me with some doubts, some questions, maybe to regularize some integrative activities from the past weeks. Maybe if you have some questions about the recordings, about the grammatical forms. So I thank you for this. I encourage you to continue with this fluid communication according to the platform messenger or my personal email, okay? You notice also the feedback to send your activity again. I'm very glad of this part because really noticing the feedback, we detect some areas of opportunity, technical issues. Some of you upload an empty file or a wrong file, or you didn't attach the recording to the activity. So you notice this very quickly on the feedback and you made a second delivery on time. So this was very important for you and for me because you really working very disciplined way, and we also were going to achieve all the integrative the time of the competitions and every academic issue on the activities. So I really congratulate you on this part, and I encourage you to keep doing this noticing the feedback, okay? You participate actively in the learning forum. I thank you for that, and I encourage you to keep these enriching spaces. The areas of opportunity to apply in this week 3, please send in advance integrative activities for early detection of areas of opportunity. Some of you really wait until the end of the week to send your integrative activities. This is not a very suggested way, because we can detect some areas of opportunity, some technical issues. So please try to send your integrative activities from Monday to Friday, okay? Check the grammatical writing, use the proper vocabulary to each situation. We can really use grammarly.com, or maybe the grammatical checking in Word, or some other tools, avoiding the translators, of course, that you really want to use, okay? Notice the rubric and my suggestions. Notice the rubric that is in Spanish, so please read it. Take care of the noise, interference, and voice level of your recordings. I notice that some of you, the volume of the recordings are very low, so please check this part. And I also have to say about the recordings that some of you didn't give the necessary permissions in Drive, the Gmail, in order to access to the recordings and hear them. But please check the infographic that is in the news forum that I shared in week 1, that is in Spanish, so you can check step by step how to save and share correctly your links of your recordings, okay? Some of you have some issues in this part. No, not the majority, but yes, some of you had issues about this, okay? Hola Judith, buenas noches, gracias por acompañarme. And what about the time extensions for activities? This week 3, I really consider important to regularize ourselves in the integrative activities that we can deliver on time, because I have to say, for me, that is very important that in week 4, we only concentrate ourselves in the integrative project and also the closure activities of week 4, okay? So in order to regularize everything that we can deliver on time from week 1, week 2, or even this week, I suggest that this week 3 is very important to have the last time extension. So I give you permissions to deliver integrative activities from week 1, week 2, in order to help you to achieve the goals, to achieve all the topics, the academic topics, the academic reviews, etc. of each activity to deliver, okay? So the procedure that we already checked, that we already talked about it, is that you can contact me through the messenger of the platform or to my personal email, explaining me what is your situation that you can deliver on time. And you can make sure you have your activities ready, or you contact me first. I ask you if you have your activities ready, and as soon as you tell me that you already have your activities ready, I enable the platform in order to give you 24 hours to upload your integrative activities to the platform, okay? So as soon as you upload your integrative activities, at the same time, 24 hours of ending your activity, you will have your evaluation and feedback, okay? So please notice that you must have a reason why the extension of time is requested. You can contact me and we can talk about these time extensions for you, okay, in order to help you. The additional resources that are located in the news forum and on the learning forum of this week 3. I have this webpage with postcards and to practice the sound of the vowels and certain words that have special pronunciation. I also suggest to you the Fluent U application that develops the learning of the English language through videos. It's very friendly. It's also free, so you can check and practice in this application. And I also suggest a video of the English lesson from Oxford English that talks about adverbs of frequency. I know there is already a research in the platform in week 3 about this topic, but I consider this video it's excellent. It's very quick and very illustrative about how to use the adverbs of frequency. Okay, it's very important to express ourselves. It's in a very proper or formal way using the adverbs of frequency. Okay, they really help us to express these topics about hobbies and abilities. Okay, so this is a space for doubts. I don't know if you have some of them. Maybe Edith, Abril, y Judith. If you have some questions, we can ask them in Spanish. As you know, this session will remain recorded in the link is in the news forum and the calendar of the platform, and I already sent you a message in the platform of each one of you to have the link of this session, so you can record it any time you want. Hopefully this is very helpful for you to the develop of the integrative activities of this week 3. Remember, you can ask me any question you have on the messenger of the platform through my personal email, and I will answer your messages 24 hours before you send them. Okay, you know, I answer very quick. Okay, maybe hours before you send your messages. Okay, Edith, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Abril, thank you. Judith, I know you arrived a little bit late. Exactly. Please check the video, check the session, and if you have some question, I will be available. Okay, so thanks again. Have a very good night, and let's keep in touch.